Sleep has been one of humanity's most universal needs since the dawn of time. Every human spends roughly one-third of their life asleep, around 26 years for the average lifespan. But imagine a world where this biological requirement suddenly vanished. No more fatigue, no more closing your eyes for 8 hours, no more dreaming. Humanity would be awake 24 hours a day, every day of its existence. AI simulations suggest that eliminating sleep would unleash both extraordinary opportunities and dangerous consequences. A world without sleep would change economies, societies, health, and even human identity in ways we can barely comprehend. The gift of extra time. The most immediate effect of a sleepless world is time. Each person would gain an average of 8 extra waking hours daily, almost an entire second lifetime across their years. What could humanity do with billions of people suddenly operating on 50% more time? Economies would expand dramatically. Factories could run 24/7 with fully engaged workers. Research labs could conduct round-the-clock experiments, and cities would pulse with constant activity. Cultural life would transform. Concerts, movies, and social gatherings would no longer be limited to nighttime slots. People could work, study, or play at any hour without fatigue. Children would spend twice as many hours learning, accelerating education. Adults could pursue multiple careers, hobbies, or skills in a single lifetime. The world might enter an era of explosive creativity and innovation, fueled by the simple fact that nobody ever stops. A new kind of society. Without sleep, daily life would never pause. There would be no division between day and night societies. Shops would remain open, governments would operate without interruption, and traffic would flow at all hours. Cities would essentially become permanently awake ecosystems, buzzing with endless energy. Religion and culture would adapt too. Traditions tied to sunrise and sunset, such as prayers, fasting cycles, or cultural celebrations, would be reinterpreted. Human relationships might also change. Couples, friends, and families would share more time together, but they might also struggle with constant demands, never getting a natural break from each other. Even the concept of leisure could evolve. In today's world, sleep serves as both rest and escape. Without it, humans might invent new forms of mental downtime, long meditation sessions, virtual reality immersions, or rest pods, where people retreat not to sleep, but simply to shut out stimulation. The loss of dreams. Yet, while the end of sleep might sound like a gift, it comes with profound costs. One of the most overlooked aspects of human sleep is dreaming. Dreams have shaped art, religion, and psychology for thousands of years. From ancient prophecies to scientific breakthroughs inspired by dreams, this nightly journey into the subconscious has been central to human culture. In a sleepless world, dreams would disappear. No surreal landscapes, no subconscious problem-solving, no mysterious inspiration. Humanity might gain time, but lose one of its deepest sources of creativity and self-understanding: the biological transformation. For humanity to live without sleep, our biology would need to be completely re-engineered. Sleep isn't just downtime. It is a vital process for memory consolidation, immune system function, and cellular repair. In our current biology, removing sleep would cause hallucinations, organ failure, and eventually death. So, in this hypothetical scenario, we must assume that humans evolve or are genetically modified to replace sleep's functions with alternative processes. Perhaps nanotechnology or advanced biochemistry takes over the repair and memory functions once performed during sleep. The brain might learn to reorganize information in real time, while the body regenerates through accelerated metabolic cycles. In this new biological reality, humanity could thrive without sleep, but the transformation would fundamentally alter what it means to be human. We would no longer be creatures who cycle between activity and rest. Instead, we would become organisms of permanent wakefulness, blurring the natural rhythm that has shaped us for millions of years. Psychological consequences. Sleep is not only biological, it is deeply psychological. It gives humans a built-in rhythm of activity and rest, helping to regulate mood, mental health, and perception of time. Without sleep, how would human psychology change? On one hand, the extra time could reduce stress. People would have more hours to balance work, relationships, and personal growth. Anxiety about never having enough time might vanish, as everyone could pursue their goals endlessly. But there is a darker side. Constant wakefulness might lead to mental exhaustion. Even if the body is biologically adapted, the human mind may still crave breaks. Without dreams or unconscious rest, people could struggle with overstimulation, boredom, or a sense that life is never-ending. Psychologists warn that without natural cycles, humans might lose their ability to mark life in meaningful phases. Time could feel endless, days blending into one another. Depression, identity crises, or existential fatigue might rise in a world where rest no longer exists. Health and medicine. The medical world would also be transformed. Today, countless conditions, from insomnia to narcolepsy, are tied to sleep. Without the need for sleep, entire fields of medicine would disappear. Hospitals would no longer treat sleep apnea, sleepwalking, or fatigue-related illnesses. However, new medical challenges would emerge. With no enforced downtime, humans might push themselves to work endlessly, leading to higher stress-related conditions. Mental health care would likely become central to society, with therapies and treatments focused on managing a constantly active brain. Doctors may prescribe artificial downtime through controlled neural stimulation, essentially guiding the brain into restful states without actual sleep. Instead of sleeping, humans might spend a few hours in neural rest chambers, not unconscious but deeply relaxed, allowing the brain to refresh. The human identity shift. For millions of years, humans have been diurnal creatures, active in the day, resting at night. The removal of sleep would break this link, creating a species that is permanently present. This would redefine human identity at the deepest level. Would we still call ourselves human if one of our most ancient needs vanished? Or would we have become something entirely new? A species unbound by the natural rhythms of Earth, existing in a state of perpetual consciousness? Global economy and productivity. If humans no longer needed sleep, the global economy would undergo a seismic shift. Today, productivity is capped by an average of 16 waking hours per day. Without sleep, that limit doubles. Humans would be active 24/7. Businesses could run nonstop, cities would never close, and economic growth would skyrocket. Imagine factories producing goods without interruption, scientists researching around the clock, and artists creating endlessly. A new class of hyperproductive individuals could emerge, leading industries, advancing technology, and driving innovation at unprecedented speeds. However, this constant productivity comes at a cost. If everyone works twice as much, competition intensifies. Employers may demand 24-hour availability, and people could lose the concept of leisure. Instead of liberating us, a sleepless world might enslave us to productivity, pushing work-life balance into extinction. Society and culture. The end of sleep would also reshape society. Today, night divides the human experience. It is a time for rest, dreams, and intimacy. Without sleep, night loses its meaning. Cities would operate at full capacity 24 hours a day. There would be no quiet hours, no weekend recovery, no midnight pause. This could erode cultural traditions tied to sleep, bedtime rituals, lullabies, and even dreams themselves. Storytelling, art, and spirituality often draw from dreams. Without them, human creativity might lose a deep source of inspiration. At the same time, new cultural practices would emerge. Instead of nightlife as an escape from daytime routines, we might see triple lives: one identity for the morning world, another for afternoon society, and a third for midnight culture. Humanity could fragment into subcultures based on how people spend their endless hours. Relationships and family life. Sleep also plays a subtle role in relationships. Couples share beds, families gather around bedtime routines, and rest provides moments of intimacy and bonding. Without sleep, these rituals vanish. Families would need to create new traditions of togetherness. Instead of saying good night, people might schedule artificial downtime to connect. Parents might spend more waking hours with children, but balancing constant work and personal life could also become harder. Some argue relationships might weaken, as individuals find fewer excuses to pause. In a world without sleep, everyone is always available. Yet this very availability could erode the value of presence, making human connection feel less special. The future of a sleepless humanity. Ultimately, a sleepless humanity is not just a biological change, it is a civilizational revolution. Humans would unlock extraordinary potential for innovation, creativity, and exploration. We could colonize planets faster, learn endlessly, and accelerate progress beyond imagination. But the dangers are equally profound. Constant wakefulness may strip us of balance, spirituality, and the natural rhythm that anchors human life. We may conquer time itself, yet lose part of what makes life meaningful. The question is not only can we live without sleep, but also should we? Because in a sleepless world, humanity might gain endless hours, but at the cost of its soul.